LBC News.
It's just gone 11 minutes after 8 here on LBC News, and a meeting of the global elite has been taking place in Davos in Switzerland. Now, business leaders, politicians and economists, they've all gathered at the World Economic Forum to discuss things like the world economy. And we're told that company executives at the Swiss resort this week have expressed concerns about the rise of hybrid working and what that means for productivity and team culture in the workplace. Well, entrepreneur Gabby Hersham, who has founded Huckletree, a pioneer of flexible office providers, joins us now here on LBC News. Morning to you, Gabby.
Good morning. How are you?
So, yeah, good, thank you. So what's the worry then here? Hybrid working probably here to stay. It was accelerated because of the pandemic. But what impact is it having on how we work and how we work together?
Well, I think it's all about balance, really. So I think that what we're seeing at Huckletree is that more and more people are really enjoying being back at work, actually. And I think from learning, development, opportunity, but even social perspectives, there's still this fresh novelty of being able to be back together in the physical workspace. I think the hesitation at Davos is around possibly being remote first. And I agree that no great company can be built in isolation, but it's all about the balance. And I think that the pandemic brought about a huge mindset shift for us. We demand greater balance, and I just don't see that going anywhere.
And so they express concern about particularly productivity. I mean, it kind of depends who you listen to. Some people say they're more productive at home and others say they're more productive in the office. I guess it's one of those things where it depends on you, the employer, and what you do.
The employer for sure, and also the role that the employee does at the office. So, for example, there are many roles that can be done remotely, and there are many that just can't. And you need to be at work and able to fulfill those roles. But I also think that from the perspective of younger people in the workplace, women in the workplace, which is a topic that I'm really passionate about, I think that the risk of us working remote first has hugely potentially detrimental impact to our future careers and the steps that we're able to make if we're making the right connections at the workplace. So I think that we need to look at it holistically and make the right decisions.
So how should companies approach it?
Well, what we're seeing at Huckletree is that most companies, I'm not seeing many companies really forcing everyone to be back at work full time. And again, I think that's a really good thing. But we are seeing that demand shifting to more flexible formats. So, for example, it could still be the 3 days in, 2 days out. And I think that is probably the right balance. I think that also another reality is that in order to remain competitive, obviously today's talent marketplace is hugely competitive, and companies need to ensure that how they define work and how they offer kind of working patterns to their employees are evolving and keeping up. So our concepts of personal fulfillment as employees are rapidly changing. Gen Z have now entered the workforce. They've got really strict ideas and concepts of how and where they want to work. So simply saying kind of be in 5 days and spend your weekends however you want doesn't work. But I think, again, it always for me comes back to this balance of let's come in, let's get to know each other as employees, let's collaborate kind of spontaneously together at work, but let's also be able to have 1 or 2 days where we can work remotely and where we can enjoy greater balance.
And how do you keep that employee culture or company culture, really, that is so important to so many companies?
Well, I think that's a really good question, but that question is really meaningful when we're working fully remotely. So when we were all fully remote 5 days a week during the pandemic, keeping culture and building culture was really challenging. But I think that if you're in, again, 3 days a week, 4 days a week and working remotely the other days, you are able to build a culture. We don't need to be in 5 days a week in order to have this culture. And there's also this whole push around the world now for the 4-day working week. So that would bring about the same question, because essentially you're there 4 days and you're not there the last day. So, that has taken off. I think early studies are proving that the concept works, that we can be more productive with a 4-day working week, that we can build kind of interesting and productive working cultures. So for me, if the 4-day working week culture is possible and is positive, then surely that extends to 4 days working in the office and 1 day remote.
Well, really interesting talking to you. Thank you for joining us here on LBC News. That's Gabby Hersham, an entrepreneur who founded Huckletree, which is a flexible office provider.